Hello, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Mr. Big Z, and welcome back to episode 2 of Banished to the Frontier. It's 5 o'clock, the sun is setting, the clock is ticking, we have some time left in the day to make a bit more money. Before we get too far into it, let's do a quick refresher of the rules. So, no super strength, no teleporting, no gimmicky or shady money-making schemes, no unrealistic capacities to any of our tankers or trailers, no leasing or financing, no GPS or steering assist on any old tractors. Outside of that, we have to complete one contract per month, which we already have in the month of August. And that is it. So between last time you guys saw me and this minute right now, the only thing I've done is I've chopped down 11 trees. I counted because I wanted to make sure I was passing over the correct numbers and the correct data to you all. But yeah, I decided to chop down the trees along kind of bordering 41 and area 40, just so I know that anything kind of on this side is what I can still work with, and to try to avoid chopping anything down there that isn't technically on my property. I'm not too worried about it, but I do want to make sure that I am kind of doing the challenge and the map justice. So we have a little line here of trees. Hopefully I can see it once I pick them up. But yeah, outside of that, the only thing I did is I chopped everything into 5-meter lengths. I then took the top halves of the trees that are liftable at this current weight, under 200 kilograms, and I loaded them on the trailer already. Everything that you see down here on the ground is too heavy and needs to be chopped down a little more. But let's talk a little bit about what happened last episode. So last episode during the startup, we simply chopped down 5 random trees. I looked around, I found almost a dead tree. It was actually a lodgepole, so it wasn't too bad, but it looked dead. So I chopped that down. I chopped down, I think one of these, yeah, Scotch pine. I think even an aspen and maybe a few other lodgepoles or Scotch pines. Either way, 5 trees. We also bought a trailer after that, and then we finished our one and only contract for the month of August, completing one deadwood contract, removing another 6 trees, and we sold the wood from that. So that's where we are, and that's what we've done to get to where we are now. Outside of that, if we take a quick look at the finances, once again, August was the setup month, so we bought our vehicle and a trailer. We bought a saw, we bought the property just to kind of get things started. And then we sold some wood. We made about almost 8,000. I guess you could call it over 8,000 from selling wood and finishing a wood contract. So 8,000, not too bad. Not super happy with it because I do need to make a lot more money. If we look at the stats here, we can see that only thing of note is that we've chopped down 22 trees. Everything else is pretty standard. Zeros essentially across the board. But yeah, we chopped down 22 trees, including the 11 trees I chopped down between last episode and this episode here. And I do want to note that because I want to see how many trees we're going to chop down here. There will be, at least in the beginning, a good bit of time lapsing to get us from this moment where you see us here now, and then the next moment, because essentially I'm just going to be cutting down a whole ton of trees. I ideally want to save some trees for a little test I want to run down the road. Essentially, if you look at this tree right here, you can see in the bottom right corner that the length is good and the shape is perfect. So this should be one of the, yeah, nothing's to its right. This should be one of the, or the most base of the tree, if that makes any sense. If you look at this tree here, you can see that this is the base, and then as you go up the length of it, we get to the tip of the tree here. This was actually a really long one. Where I was able to remove at least 1, maybe 2 of the top 5-meter lengths. So what I want to do, using either the Scotch pine or some of the lodge poles, is I want to see how, or what I should say, is the most profitable way. So once again, looking down at the bottom right-hand corner, we can see that this length is good and the shape is perfect. I'm assuming that a 5 and a 5 hopefully makes a perfect length and keeps the perfect shape. But I'm going to save at least 1 or 2. I guess I should save at least 2, maybe 3 of each of the long ones. So I might grab a spray can and tag a few desirable trees to run the test. But yeah, that's essentially it. I'm going to get straight into it. Once again, we are 30 minutes already, 24 minutes into game time on this episode. And I want to wrap up whatever I'm doing before it gets too dark. We have a chainsaw. I can turn the light on. At first I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to use the chainsaw with the light, but you can have your chainsaw and the light up. I don't know if this is a mod feature or if it's a vanilla in-game, but either way, I want to stop before it gets too dark. I also see that we're expecting rain. What time are we expecting rain? Rain at 9 p.m. So hopefully I'm done by the time the rain starts. I can jump in my truck and call it a night there. But with that being said, we're just going to jump straight into it. So what do I want to do? Are there any trees up here? Let's do this logically. Yeah, this is our most northern tree along the border. So once again, everything kind of that way and south we'll be trying to tear down. Okay, so this is our tree. We have 2 logs here. I'm just going to get straight to it. Oh, I want to change my desired lengths to maybe 3 meters. That leaves 2 on this side, 3 on the bottom side. That doesn't make sense. Let's go to 2 meters. Okay, 2 meters. Let's get to it. First thing I'll do before I get to the time lapse, because I do want to see how this works. Okay, so that's 2 meters. That is still liftable. At 115. Oh, that's actually pretty... Okay, so I can do that. I can do a 2 and a 1. And then if I do another... No, that 2 is going to be too heavy. Let's do a 1 on this side. What is my distance? There we go. 1 on this side. Where is light up? There we go. Okay, so if I do 1, 1 is liftable. Let's see if I can do a 2 now. Once again, I'm trying to maximize so that 2 is liftable. This 2 will be liftable. Okay, so that'll be a 2. So, okay. Starting at the base of the tree, we should be able to go 2. No, start again. That should be 1, and then everything else above it should be good for a 2. Oh, sweet. Okay, so I wanted to bring you back in. So first off, look at this fog. Not only is this the fog and the sun rays shining through, based on FS25's vanilla settings, I guess, or vanilla updates, upgrades, better lighting and whatnot, compared to FS22. This is also one of the mod features of, what's it called again? Realistic weather. Not only does it bring you heavy snow, droughts, heavy rain, but it also brings you thick fog. Now, I have to figure out my way back to the shop with this thick fog. Shouldn't be too difficult, I hope. To me, that just looks great. Like, that looks amazing. Now, it'd be terrifying if I had to drive into that, but for now, we are just driving away from it, so it's a little manageable, and then perfect. Once I get in the shadows, it should pretty much go away. Now, I don't know how long it's going to take to burn out, and I need to get back to a little bit of forestry. But I did want to show you guys, or talk about, two things. So first off, if I don't run into a tree and miss my turn, two things. Yes, it rained last night, and I had to stop early, but I did notice that off of the one haul I brought in, I took in, I think, almost $12,000, and truthfully, that was a lot more. I wanted to demonstrate something. That was a lot more. What is going on here? And that was a lot more than I thought it was going to be. You know what? Surprisingly, the moisture is really low. I was expecting more. Maybe that's because it's harvested already. So I can't really compare any other fields because I haven't touched any of the other fields yet. Or even looked at them, I should be saying. But either way, I definitely wanted to bring you guys in, show you the fog, show you this next deposit of wood to the sawmill, and see if we could get our money up. Overnight, while I was waiting for the day to break once again, I did some thinking, especially with how much money we just made, the $12,000 from the first delivery. Maybe it's something that I might want to wait for. I was browsing around the tractors and some of the implements, and I think I might try to wait it out. I might try to wait it out to get a better tractor. Once I drop this off, I'll tell you exactly what I mean by that. Let's back up into this noisy sawmill, unload, and then I will pull forward. I'll pull forward and I'll talk to you about it. Okay, see, that's surprising once again. I guess, Okay, so now that we're away from the sawmill and I can think a little bit, let's take a quick look at this. So, initially I was saying that I'm okay with any of these top row, and even this, maybe even this one, tractors. But looking at it, this Fendt here, being the most expensive and also the most powerful, caps out at 95 horsepower, which may be good if I had other options and I needed something specific for a certain job. However, this is something much more usable. 175 horsepower, 190, and maybe even 230. But that's $90,000. This one's $85,000 essentially. So I was thinking, I need to figure out some criteria as to what my first tractor needs. I think first and foremost, I need 3-point hitches or 3-point attachments. Ideally, I'd want one in the front and one in the back. So if I'm looking at one of these cheaper guys at at $58,000, this doesn't have any type of front 3-point attachment. And it also doesn't have a front loader, which is something that I'm kind of considering to be a bit of a mandatory thing. So if I look at this one here, looking at the John Deere 7810, $68,000, we can easily see that it has a 3-point attacher, front and back, and it also has a front loader attacher as well. So something like this 7810 would be great. Something like this, nope, not this one, the 4755 is not quite going to cut it for me. And also this one here, although this would be a bit more expensive and 60-ish, $55,000 away. This is something that may be perfect. 190 horsepower, front attacher, 3-point at the front and at the back. And also there's a really cool feature about this where I don't know if you can see it right here. It has a rear steering wheel. I don't necessarily know how it works, but from what I can gather from that and from down here, this tractor also has, down here, this vehicle is also equipped with reverse drive controls. I think that'd be pretty cool to use. $84,000, something a little bit out of the way. Now, if we fly back over to the small tractors real quick, we can see that this Fendt might be able to cut it in terms of having a front 3-point, rear 3-point, and the ability. Oh, this one doesn't even have it. Are you kidding me? Sorry, it's this one. What? This one doesn't have it either. I could have sworn one of these had it. Well, either way, I'll stop messing around. This John Deere should have it. Yeah, don't make me a liar once again. Okay, so this John Deere is on the cheaper side, $46,000. Still a good little bit away. I'm looking at this $36,50. I'm also looking towards the 7810 and the Valmet 8750. Now, the reason I'm looking at these is because I'm looking also at what I'll be able to do with my tractor. And realistically, it'll be my only tractor for a good little bit of time. If I jump into the plows, we can see that 60 horsepower, 80 horsepower, and I think this small tractor could handle that. Yeah, small tractor can handle that. Now, the other thing is we're going to need to get a front loader at some point, maybe not immediately, but at some point, to help me move things around. We're also going to need some type of seeder. Now, seeders really bump up, and this is where I was going with it. Like, this is a 165 horsepower seeder. This one's a little less at 110, but it's still more than the small John Deere can handle. If we look at some of the money-making ways, we have mowers. I could definitely handle it with something small like this at 50 horsepower, but I can't really go too high above that or combine two and stay below the horsepower that the tractor has. Even going with something like this, that's out of reach for a small tractor, not for the larger, that's also out of reach, but not terribly out of reach. That is just, I have 190 and this is 210, so this 20 horsepower over, not too bad. I think there are even some, if I grab this class front with a class back, nope, that is also way too much. Either way, I digress. I won't waste much more time here. All this to say is that a somewhat larger tractor might be able to do me a lot more in the early parts without having to upgrade. Yeah, these are all manageable. But yeah. So what is next? Next, we have to just keep, you know what? Something I didn't do just now is I didn't check my sales. Okay, sales aren't doing remarkably well, at least not for what I need. This is still here. Do I really want to buy this? What is a spread light? Either way, I think that would be cool. Mind you, it might only cost $25,000 full price. I'm really looking to see what type of tractors come available. I think the first tractor that comes available out of any of the ones that I'm looking at is what I'm going to end up grabbing. But up until then, I'm going to just keep on pressing on. We didn't get to any of the new trees that I was looking to cut down because it got dark so late. I might need to slow this time down. 5x is quite fast. The only other thing to do right now is to consider what kind of contracts will I be looking at. So we have another deadwood in the same exact spot, conveniently. And I don't really know if I want to do this once again. But either way, I'm just going to press on for the next little bit. Maybe I'll be able to get enough tree sales. And I'm going to focus on the lodge poles. I might be able to get enough tree sales to afford my new tractor. Highly doubt it, but you never know. You never know. So I might just jump to the next point where I've harvested all my trees. I'm going to try to figure out how much of this repetitive forestry work I want to show you guys. If you want more of the early time lapses, just me harvesting trees to get a good bit of money, let me know. But I do think that it is a little boring to watch, and I don't want you guys to get bored, obviously, of me just chopping down trees and delimbing them, chopping them up even further. Oh man, this fog is something. Yeah, I'm just gonna get to it. There might not even be much to show with all this thick fog. Holy. Let's see, what does it look like in cab? Maybe a little better. No, not better at all. Either way, I'm just gonna get to it. No more chit chat, no more time wasting. Back to it. Okay, so let's see if I can do this in one shot now. These are a lot of the much smaller trees on the property. So I was able to pick them up pretty easily by myself, obviously. Over here. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Yes, 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 stop clicking. I wish they could fix that somehow. Okay, so we're rolling. So it is 5 p.m. in September. I've spent the entirety of the day just walking around, chopping down trees, loading them up, and bringing them over. I think this is my 4th trip to the sawmill, maybe my 5th. Been a lot, and they kind of blend in together with each other. So I think I took screenshots of all of the other drop-offs, and I'll try to pop them on screen some way to show you the progression in making money here by selling logs. Obviously, I didn't want to show you guys the entire painstakingly boring process of chopping down trees. but we spent a good amount of time just clearing and clearing and clearing. There is still a good amount of trees left on the property, which I'm kind of happy about because it means that I can make some more good cash. But before we get into anything else, I just wanted to drive over and show you what we're looking at now. It might be hard to kind of visualize what this place looked like before, but if I zoom out and go here, so this is our property. We're kind of getting into the middle of it all right here now. And then if I jump out, you can see that there are definitely still trees, but a lot, or maybe some of the bigger trees are gone, and then a lot of the smaller trees are gone as well. I think I'm going to, let's see, how close can we get? These are all nice big trees. I think about here. I don't want to mark any trees. Oh, I also bought 2 spray cans, a red and a blue. I don't know why. Yeah, so I'll probably stop about here, keep moving forward, get some of these good trees down out of the way next, or maybe next month at some point. Yeah, all of these smaller trees are pretty liftable by hand. Maybe not this one here, because that's pretty big. But this guy should be, this guy definitely will be. And that is essentially the last little bit of trees that I did. So before we get too late, and I almost forgot about it myself. Oh, and I'm just crushing these trees here. These little annoying tree-like bushes, they're just getting destroyed. Okay, so what is next? Yeah, it's 5:30, and I almost forgot about our obligations to complete 1 contract. Ah, man. It looks like these contracts are always going to be in the same places. Yeah, which isn't too bad, but kind of repetitive. Either way, I'm going to accept it. Let's get this done. Just make sure I pay off my, what should I call it? What would this be? This would be payback community service. My type of community service back to the area. So how many are we looking for? We are looking for 6 deadwoods in this area. Let's get to work. Okay, so something else I noticed while I was going around and taking care of all of the work is that not only does this forestry helper mod allow you to cut to specific lengths, it also helps you cut to specific weight. So if you can see in the top left corner, about 2 or 3 lines down, you see indication mode set to weight. If I hit C as default, it then goes back to, well, it goes to off. And then we have length here, currently set to 2 meters. And then once again, weight, which is currently set to 200. Now, the reason I have it to 200 is obviously because that is as much as I can lift at one time. I noticed that on some of the other trees, it wasn't the most accurate. So let's see if it happens here while I'm recording. This should be 200 kilograms. And it's under, which is fine. I'm completely fine with it being under. The issue happens is when you get to a log, and these might all be good. So maybe the lodge poles are pretty good and pretty accurate with it all. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of tests here and checks because I don't want it to end up being too heavy. And that's 204, so we'll just cut the tip off of this. Sweet, so those are all liftable. Perfect. So that is something else you could take advantage of, something else you can use to help you cut down logs until they're at a point that you can lift them. Should help a lot with not only lifting easily, but also maximizing your weight so that you're not cutting things down too short and bringing in a lot of small pieces. Yeah, that's about it. I do tend to do a pass up and down just to kind of see if there's any last little bits of tree branches hanging around. I'm going to go and I'm going to grab all these logs. Hopefully it is September. Hopefully we don't get too dark too quick already. 6 p.m. The sun is setting. Just like this. Grab that piece on the way back. The sun is setting at 6 p.m. almost 5:02. Let's get to work, and we'll probably end up calling it a, hopefully there's a bit more time. Hopefully there's a bit more sunlight. Once again, this 5x speed, at least for me, is pretty fast, but I'm going to try my best to hold it to the 5x. But I'm just going to get down to it, and we will rejoin in a moment. Okay, let's drop this off. I'm really happy that I was able to do it all in one trip, but let's not mess up this reverse job. Come on now. Let's scoot it right. I need to twist this way, should do it. I don't know if that's all. You know what? That should all be in there. If anything, I'll just fix it later. Okay, $48,000. Let's see. Sweet. Oh, okay, never mind. Just $900. But we are making a solid... Oh, and I can also accept this contract. Sweet. Contract for day 2, month 2. September is complete. We are just shy of $50,000. This is, I think, really good. At first, when I dropped off my first load of wood, I was pretty worried that the grind would be pretty grindy, pretty slow. But after dropping off the wood I did today, some of them kind of ragtag combinations, some smaller ones, and I still have a good amount of big trees on the property. I'm feeling pretty confident that I'll be able to get up to a good place. Before I get too far and maybe miss something, let me take a quick look at our sales. Nothing. Okay, well, hey, there's 3 empty spots. Come on, fill them up. Someone drop something off. Let me pick something up at a good price. Because once again, if I jump back to our sales, ideally, we're looking for maybe this. 147 horsepower, $57,000. But more realistically, either this would be my dream first tractor, $84,000, capable of working with 190 horsepowers. I'd be really happy with that. It has a front 3-point, a rear 3-point, of course, and the capability to put a front loader on it. And then additionally, this here at 68, which we're not too far from, just another $20,000. Once I get that, I think the next thing I'll be looking to get is probably a mower. This is my thought process. Buy a tractor. Perfect, cool. Obviously, every good farm, every good homestead needs a tractor. That one's obvious. The next thing I want to do is I think I want to try to mow as much grass as I can on my property. Now, I'm not going to mow the perfect box out, but I do think that if I can mow a solid area, maybe ted it, no, not ted it, maybe windrow it, or just pick it up as it is, and then also maybe wrap it with a baler and sell it as silage in a month or two from then. I think that would be best. Now, once that is gone, once the grass is gone, I'll then be able to plow. One of the reasons why I'm cutting down the trees, not only just to make money, but I do want to open up and clear out some of this area here. Because, like, our property goes all the way over here. And mind you, this is already pretty empty, which is great. You know what? I've never actually walked over here yet. I spent all of my time, 2 months, over there in the trees. This is actually really, really good. So I think what I might do is this actually stretches a lot further than I thought. Once again, this is good though. This is really good. What is that on the ground? Just a flower. Okay. What I'll probably do is I'll probably make 2 fields, maybe 3 on my property. Kind of one already here in this open area. I don't know how large they're going to be, and I might have to do some checking in and out every so often just to see how big the fields are. I definitely want my fields to be more than an acre. Piece of property that we have right now is, I think, 6.5 acres. Sorry, 6.5 hectares. I don't know what the conversion from a hectare to an acre is, but I do know that hectares are larger. I say with the least amount of confidence. So if I'm able to make a few large fields, yeah, look at all this room. I am going to leave these trees here. There's a pretty dense forest of trees right here. I'm going to leave those as is. But you know what? Enough talking in the dark. I'm going to end it here. As always, if you guys are enjoying this, please consider giving the channel a subscription, the video a like, and leave any recommendations, comments, questions, or concerns down in the comment section down below. I'm Mr. Big Z. This is episode 2 of Banished to the Frontier, and I'll see you guys all next episode.